All right, we're live.
We're live.
All right. How is everybody doing? We are live with Travis with Perpetual Project. We've got so far in the chat, I see Shellman and Chucky's Garage
Chucky's
is in
Garage.
here.
I can't hear
Chucky
you,
said
Shellman, but I can read you.
yeah. Chucky said he don't know if it's a good idea, but I'm watching while driving home from work. I'm sure he could be watching or doing worse things while driving.
Yeah. At least you don't have to interact
Buff,
with the phone. Buff's
yeah,
driving. Everybody's driving
Buff
right
is
now.
driving. Everybody's driving. All right. Buff is here. We got a few people coming in. We'll just kind of chit chat a little bit before we really get into the topic. Let people filter in. It may be a slow night because of the holidays. I'm kind of expecting that,
sure.
but I'm not too concerned. Even if it's just the three in here that are watching this, that's fine with me.
Yep. I'm going to mute this for just a second.
Okay. And while Travis is muted, Travis said he's having a little bit of technical difficulty with his stream. He doesn't have very good internet service, so he may be. I was just telling him that you have your internet service is a little sketchy, so you may kind of start glitching out on us a little bit.
Yeah. If I start doing the robot, I'm not really dancing because I don't dance.
Yeah. This is about as far as I get with the dancing, but we'll make do. It's all good. Hope everybody's having a. I guess this is Christmas season. Hope everybody's having a good Christmas season and getting ready for some celebration.
Welding. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, Ralph. But hopefully everybody's having a good week with family and everything. So yeah, I know I've had some company this weekend. It's been I had 6 kids and they're all raised and out of the house now, but my wife and I her oldest son, they went on a cruise. So and we got to babysit their 1-year-old boy for the weekend, and yeah, I was telling Travis earlier, 30-pound human being about whooped our butt in 2 days. So, but it was nice. It was really cool to have a little one around again, and then her youngest son and his wife and their 1-year-old came in the night before last. So there one night we had 2 little ones, and yeah, it's been fun having little ones in the house again. But it's wearing on old Pop.
Tiring.
And I haven't really done a whole lot. Square ATCs is in here. So how's your week been, Travis? Anything
Good.
you want to brag about?
We don't have company.
Anything?
I am company.
You are the company.
I am the company. I don't have anything to brag about. I've been kind of taking it easy. Haven't really been working on much. I've been playing and working on some other people's projects. I went and saw Richard today at his shop. He's at the bowling alley practicing for league Thursday night.
Yeah.
How's it going, Richard?
Hello, Richard.
But just been visiting with friends, and I went and saw my machinist today and hung out there for a couple hours, just chit-chatting. And then old buddy who used to build race cars with me and Richard went and hung out with him for a couple hours today. But just been visiting, not really doing a lot of anything.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It's kind of nice taking a little bit of a break from life.
Yeah. Yep. It's good to do that every once in a while.
Mrs. Square Buddy's here.
Yeah. That's why I don't have my Christmas stocking stuff in the background like you do.
So,
well, I never thought about
we
having
didn't
a
put
Christmas
those up,
background.
but I didn't either. That is purely coincidence. I was actually going to be somewhat in a tailgate this week, sitting in the back of a bed that's in the garage, or in front of the bed that's in the garage, but I didn't pay attention, and we were out of kerosene, and it's currently 20 some degrees and falling out there.
Wow. Yeah, it's
we're
not
our
quite
high
that cold
on
here.
Thursday. What's that?
Yeah. I said it's not quite that cold here right now. Today was actually really nice outside. It's in the mid 40s, sunshine. So it was nice out
we're
today.
Nice during the day, but as soon as the sun goes down.
Yeah.
So Thursday, our high is supposed to be 8.
Yeah, it's supposed to. I'm not sure what the high is. I think the high.
I'm sorry, 4. I was corrected.
Yeah, our high is supposed to be in the teens or something later this week. It's supposed
probably
to
the
get
same
some winter
storm that's
weather
hitting us Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, Chucky says
it's not much
Bama
better. It's cold in Bama too.
Yeah, we're expecting some winter weather. Not looking forward to it, but I got a fire going in the shop stove and got my little space heater, so I'm pretty cozy out here. And I got a thermos full of coffee for this live. The after hours live, I may get something else out, but
something that's a little more warming.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the topic. It's just kind of a spur of the moment. I lost track of time this week, and what was it, Sunday? What day was it? I text you and let you know, hey, this is what I got. I about forgot all about it, But our topic is what got us into wrenching. I mean, just and some of our earliest memories of wrenching, I guess. So I'll let Travis tell his story. What got you into wrenching and some of your earliest memories of turning wrenches or doing mechanic work or just hot rodding or whatever.
So, I'm gonna say if we want to, like, overall, what got me into wrenching is being a cheapskate.
Yeah.
And I say that because I like some of my earliest memories of wrenching. My earliest memory of wrenching is, I don't know. I don't know if you can call it wrenching. I had to be young, like 6 or 7, maybe. We would go to the after Christmas sale at Radio Shack in the mall, or after Christmas, we'd go to Radio Shack in the mall, and they would sell all the returned, broken RC cars. So I could buy a couple of them with my Christmas money. I could bring them home and take them apart and make one good one for a lot less money than buying a good one. And I had extra parts. So that's probably my earliest memory of wrenching, is playing with RC cars. And then the same thing, like all through middle school and that, when I had bicycles, I would take everybody else's broken down bicycles and fix them up and paint them and repack the wheel bearings and straighten the wheels and everything. And then, when I got a little bit older, early teenage years, things became motorized. We started having motorcycles. And then, once I turned 16 and I got cars, the motorcycles completely went away. Hold on. We've got pictures here. I got to make sure this is
There's a better one too.
Good for YouTube. Oh,
yeah.
This is apparently not a memory I have. Who is this in this picture with me, Mom? So this is let me figure out how to work this. This is me and my grandpa apparently working on a chair when I was really, really little. I can't get rid of that glare. So right there.
Yeah.
We're fixing the chair. And then here's me actually fixing the chair. So the picture that we're digging through the box of pictures looking for is not a memory that I have, but I've heard the story so many times it's almost like a memory. When I was around 2 or 3, my dad was working on his semi, and I was there helping him, greasing the fifth wheel plate with my body.
Yeah.
Head to toe covered in fifth wheel grease. They put it in my yearbook when I was in high school.
I think, you know why they do these recreation pictures of like the little kids, and then they recreate the picture? Yeah. I think that needs to happen.
Oh, I can't imagine how long that shower would take.
Yeah.
Amber said I'd have to go to the truck stop to take a shower.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Mrs. Squareby apparently wants to see that too. So
we'll have to find the picture.
She said she can have it for next. She knows where it's at, but it's not here.
Apparently, it's not in the house. Its location is known.
Yeah.
Oh no! Maybe I shouldn't have told that story.
Yep. Well, it's on YouTube now, and it's going to be on YouTube for forever. Yeah. And so we got to make this happen.
I can't get rid of this video.
Yep. Yep.
Oh.
All right. Uh-oh. We're
we'll
losing
do that
people,
for
maybe.
10,000 subscribers. What? We're going to put that out there. Our 10,000 subscriber celebration is going to be me recreating that fifth wheel grease picture.
Yeah. Yes.
It's official. That's what I'm going to put it out there as. When we hit 10,000, be ready. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to have to remember that. Hey, Lars is in here. What's going on, Lars?
How's it going, Lars?
So, all right, I think Travis is trying to change the subject now. So, any other? Good.
I mean, as far as like earliest, that's kind of what I guess got me into, or I guess I was always built for wrenching because I'd just been doing it naturally forever. And then my first real car projects, I guess not car projects. When I was early teenage years, my dad owned a gravel pit, and we'd go out there and work on the conveyors and the rock crusher. And that's where I actually learned how to weld. I spent an entire weekend hard facing and welding the wedge for a rock crusher. And I got flash burn with a helmet on. I welded so much that day.
Yeah.
And I think we were MIG welding it, building it up, grind it off, build it up, grind it off, where the wedge wore, where it sat in there and vibrated all the time. And then, I mean, we worked on diesel trucks together and cars. And then my first car, we bought at a salvage auction, and we didn't have to do a lot to it. It was total for hail damage, but we worked on it. And then every car I've had since then, I've had to fix at one point or another, except for my new truck that I sold recently.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of, my group of friends in high schools, we were all car guys. So we were always wrenching together. And then automotive class, I didn't do auto body or auto mechanics in high school. They didn't offer it at our school, but I did auto body at the college when I was in high school.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I guess, something I've just naturally always done. It's always been a part of my life. I was thinking about when if I could remember when I didn't work on something, and I really can't. I don't have a memory when I didn't have something that I was working on. Yeah,
that's kind of the same with me. Is I was just kind of born into it. My dad was a grease monkey. My grandpa was on my grandpa on my dad's side was a mechanic, and my grandpa on my mom's side, he was a carpenter. He wasn't very good with machines. He couldn't keep a machine running to save his life, but he could build. He'd build $250,000 houses just out of his head. Just he'd look at the plans if they had plans, but then they didn't mean anything to him. He just knew what to do. He was very gifted in that. So, but yeah, you know, like I said, my earliest. I mean, I don't remember a time when I wasn't involved in wrenching. I just grew up with it. My dad was the guy that everybody. He wasn't. He didn't have a shop or anything. He just done it on the side, but all of his buddies, everybody knew, would bring their cars over for my dad to fix them, and I was just always there. And I can't find the pictures. I was wanting to have some pictures too, and it would have been a good one and I may recreate it. I won't let you go down alone, Travis. Mine's not quite as bad as greasing up a fifth wheel plate in your underwear or diaper, but
I was wearing clothes. I think I had like church clothes on. Oh yeah.
What?
Oh, apparently I had work clothes on. So my mom is actually here, and that's how prepared I was when I muted it at the very beginning. I asked her for the picture, and that's where we found the other picture. So I wasn't prepared. Don't let me fool you.
Yeah. This ain't about preparedness. This is just it's live. It's just hanging out. But yeah, I remember we got
talk about how how you were talking about how your grandpa on your mom's side was in carpentry, right? So my grandpa on my mom's side was also into carpentry, and he's not very good at machinery type of things. And but yeah, he built houses his whole life, and actually I remember when I was young, I would say probably pre-teenage years, I used to go down to Florida and hang out with him for the summer a couple of times, and went out and saw some of the houses he was building. And he was the superintendent by that point, so he didn't actually have to do anything. He just ordered everybody else around. But yeah, so kind of the same thing. My dad's side of the family is more mechanical. My mom's side of the family is more carpentry type things, craftsman style, I guess.
Yeah, same here. I remember my grandpa Bennett, my mom's dad. He couldn't mow the yard all at once because the lawnmower, it can be perfectly fine, but he couldn't keep it running. And I would go out there as a little kid and tinker around with it. Don't remember doing much, but I'd get it started. But he wouldn't let me run it, but I could get it started for him. It's just one of them things. But the picture I was wanting to look for, but I couldn't find it, was me. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I had one of them little plastic, best I can explain it, like the Barbie Jeep, but it was a green Army Jeep.
Okay.
But it wasn't battery powered, it was pedal powered. And I would cruise up and down the sidewalks, because we lived on Air Force Base housing, and I'd cruise up and down the sidewalks on that thing, power slide around the corners, but there's a picture of me. I got it for Christmas, I think. And the same year, my dad got a floor jack for Christmas. So I was using his floor jack there in the living room, had it jacked up, and I was underneath my little Jeep, acting like I was working on it in my underwear. So maybe that's a picture I'll have to recreate one of these days.
So when I remember, and we always got in trouble for it, but when we were young, we'd go to the shop and we'd play on the jacks. Like I jacked my sister up and then let her down real fast and see if she'd fall over, and then she jacked me up, I remember the one that he was always worried about. He had this big transmission jack, and it wasn't hydraulic. It had a screw, and you had to screw it down, and it raised up and screw it back. We used to play with that, but it was a finger-eating machine. I don't remember any of us ever getting hurt in it, but I know he was always worried about us playing with it because the gears where the two gears meshed for the handle was exposed, and if you got your finger in there, it'd chew your finger up. We used to get in trouble for playing with that one. How's it going, First Responder Garage?
Yeah. But, I was, Dad would be, whatever he was working on, I was right there with him. So I was trying to learn everything, trying to figure it all out. And he also, I guess I was probably 5 or 6 years old, him and his buddies got to buying and selling cars. They just would buy a car. Okay. He would do the work on it. He'd do the mechanic part or the paint work and then flip it. And so we had, all sorts of different cars. This is back in the early 80s. So, we had anything from, if they could pick up a Corvette that was cheap. Corvettes, I remember, had a big white late 70s, or maybe early 70s Pontiac Grand Prix. I had the boat tail. No, it wasn't a Grand Prix. What was it? It may have been Grand Prix. I just remember it was huge, white on white interior, had a boat tail rear end. I don't know if that was a Grand Prix or not. But anyway, it's a big Pontiac. I'm sure Buff will correct me on that, but there's one. They bought a Ford Pinto wagon that had the wood grain sides.
Okay.
And it's one of those things that wood grain, that vinyl wood grain, had a smell to it. And to this day, if I could smell that, and I go right back to that car, it's weird.
Did you have to replace the wood grain on it then, or just
No, they didn't replace the wood grain. I just remember it's just one of them weird memories that popped in my head. But he was always working on a little bit of everything. And then later on, we'd have, a couple of his buddies had some cool muscle cars, and one of them had I think it was a 70 Olds 442 that we rebuilt the 455 in. And, it was just, I was around a lot of cool stuff, but once I got old enough to parts wash, and we're not talking about a nice electric parts washer with, parts washing solvent. Oh, no. It was a bucket. It was a bucket of kerosene or bucket of diesel fuel.
5-gallon bucket.
Yeah, and no gloves. Just out there, probably in my underwear, just cleaning parts for Dad. But what that did was I would say, well, what is this part? What is it? And I'd ask him, and then, he would try to show me or tell me, and then. Or he'd say, well, wait until we get putting this engine together and I'll show you what it does. And so I was, I didn't want to just say, well, I'm just cleaning this part. I wanted to know what that part did. So, when I was real little, I started figuring out how an engine works. And so it's just been a part of my life. And then as I got older and an adult, I didn't have the money to pay anybody to fix my own stuff, so I just always kept my own stuff running. So part of it was just born into it. Some of it was necessity to figure out how to fix stuff, and I can't not do it. I get lazy sometimes, and just don't feel like going out to the shop and working on stuff, but. Man, I miss it. It's just a part of me. I just can't not do it.
That's when I first moved to Alabama. I did as little as I could get away with because I didn't have a garage or anywhere to work on anything. But I still, underneath my carport, I rebuilt 2 Scions. I built a Jeep. or started building a Jeep, and I didn't want to work on anything, but I'm the type of person that whenever I go to buy a car, for the most part, I don't want to see what's on the front of the lot running. I want to see what's in the back of the lot that I can work on and get a good deal on.
Yeah. Yeah. I still have the habit of, if I want to get something or buy a vehicle, it's like, oh, I'll only spend, if I just spend $1,000 on this piece of junk that needs $5,000 for, hypothetical numbers. But
yes,
I'll spend $1,000 on something that needs $5,000 worth of work done to it or parts. Or I could buy something that for $3,000 that's ready to go. Am I going to do that? No. I'm going to spend way more on something
by the one that's going to be more fun.
Yeah, but then again, in the end, I know I know everything's been done to it.
You know what you got.
Yeah.
Well, and that's my thing is, sure, you could buy one that looks good for $3,000, but you could still end up putting the same $5,000 into the $3,000 one. You just might get another week before you have to do it.
Yeah.
If you buy it broke, somebody else has already taken the loss on that. You buy it running and it breaks, you own that loss.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is most of my vehicles have been that way. Just I'll buy someone else's stuff that they give up on, and I'll dump a bunch of money into it in parts, but it's fixed. I guess I could say right. At least it's fixed my way.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the cars that I currently own. I guess technically Extra Parts, the red truck, it was running when we bought it, but we bought it at an auction for dirt cheap, so it doesn't really count. Other than that, the only one that was running when I bought it is Amber's Jeep. And in a small way, my white diesel, but I bought it from my dad, who when he bought it, it didn't even have an engine in it. So I think it counts still.
Yeah. Well, I can't say that. We have a couple newer vehicles, but I still have to. I can't help it. Even our Ram, it's a 2019, and I still want to do something to it, but it's like I also just want to leave it alone. But we didn't have it. Well, maybe 6 months. We've had it for about a little over a year now, but about 6 months into it, it's like I didn't like the way the back end, it just set way too high in the back. But it's a four-wheel drive, but I didn't want to. I wanted it level looking, but I didn't want to bring the front end up. I wanted to bring the back end down. It's coil spring. Yeah. So I brought it in the shop, unhooked the shock, lowered down the rear axle, pulled the springs out, done the old coil chop, and I think I cut a full round out of it, and I'd like to go a little bit more. I just wanted to make the truck, look more what I wanted to. I didn't have to do it, but
so it's funny
I can't leave stuff alone.
I got a similar story on my 2016 Ram. I bought it at a dealership here in Colorado. We were back here on vacation. I bought it at a dealership in Denver, brand new, drove it home, and blew the entire front wrap apart so that I could paint the grill black and the front bumper black. Or not black. I clear rubbed the front bumper and I painted the grill black. I took all the wheels off and painted all the wheels black, and then took it home to Alabama. And by then my parts had come in. I put running boards on it. I put a tonneau cover on it. It was the next time I came back to Pueblo. Richard put a leveling kit on it and airbags on it. So yeah, even my brand new stuff, I couldn't leave it alone. I couldn't just drive it. I don't have anything I could just drive. Did I lose you?
No, I'm listening.
Oh. So we found the picture.
Uh-oh.
There's me after playing on the fifth wheel of his truck.
Okay.
It's not quite as greasy as I remember it being. Apparently this is partially cleaned up.
Okay.
Guilty. I have parts washer.
Yeah, we got some good comments going on. We went silent. We're reading the comments.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But back, to the topic, well, I pretty much said everything. I mean, I just always done it. It wasn't something that,
Yeah.
I went to school for. I mean, I went to auto body school in high school. We had the VOTEC in high school. So my junior and senior year, I had
It was in high school
auto
when I
body
did
class.
it at college.
Yeah. So, and the only reason I did that, is because I'd done more mechanic work growing up. I helped Dad do body work too, because he'd do everything. And but I went to auto body class because I wanted to redo my truck. So, but I never did get it finished. It was kind of a screwy deal in our class in my senior year. I had the truck blown apart. Had the bed off, front clip off. It was just a cab, no doors on it, and had it in the shop. And it was one of the kids in that class stole a stereo out of one of the vehicles that was in there. So we got grounded. We couldn't work on anything. And I'm like, why? I didn't do it. Why can't I work on I need my truck. I mean, I got to get my truck done before the end of school year. I can't, I really can't be without the truck the way it is, because at the time I started my family early. My senior year of high school, I was married, had one kid, and another one on the way. So, and here I am with my truck, without it, because it was sitting there in class and I couldn't do anything with it. So I never did get it finished. I got the bed painted, the cab painted. I never did finish the front clip or the doors. But I was able to get it put back together so I could drive it before the end of the school year. But so I'm not really, I've talked to some guys that, really accomplished mechanics, but they never really touched a wrench until they were, out of high school, and they went to mechanic school. And, before that, they didn't really have a whole lot of mechanical experience. And it's just kind of odd. I'm not trying to say anything bad about people who do that, because like I said, there are a lot of really good, accomplished mechanics that are like that, but it just doesn't, it's just hard for me to think of that, because I just always, my earliest memories are the working on stuff. Just always done it.
Yeah, I don't remember. Like I said, I guess when I was pre-teen, I didn't really work on cars that much. My dad's always worked on cars, but when we were younger, my parents were divorced, so we would see my dad's on the weekend, and he wouldn't do a lot of work while we were there. We'd hang out and spend time together, so he didn't do a lot of work. But there was times during the summer when we go out and help him at the shop and stuff. So I didn't do a lot of working on cars or trucks back then. He didn't really have a lot of cars. He did a little bit of the flipping cars when I was younger, but most of the time we were working on semis. If it was important enough to be working on, it was something that for work on Monday, and he'd be working on his semi, we'd be over there helping him at the shop.
Yeah. But like you said, you was rebuilding or building RC
bicycles
cars and stuff.
Dirt bike.
Yeah. And that's same thing with me. I'd usually start out with I'd get a new RC car for Christmas, one of the cheap ones from Walmart, and then I'd have it for like 10 minutes, break it, and sometimes Dad would help me fix it, but I'd do, I ended up with a pile of them, so I was putting things together. Then also had model cars. I'd done a lot of model cars, so I
couldn't do model cars. I never waited for the glue to dry.
Yeah. I struggle with that
I couldn't paint
sometimes.
anything. It was never dry when I put fingerprints in it.
Yeah, some of mine had some fingerprints, but I had like probably 40 of them at one time in my room, and
Oh, wow.
it was cool because I'd build it the way I wanted to, and
Yeah.
it's just a lot of fun. Let's see. Yeah, that sounds about like my auto body class. My instructor was not really the best body man. He was okay if you used a gallon of Bondo on a quarter panel. You see these pictures on the internet where you got Bondo this thick on a quarter panel to make it look right. That was his deal.
My auto body, like I said, it was so when I was in high school, they had VICA, which was vocational something anyway. We went to the college for our auto body class, and we learned like that business side of it too. Like I learned how to do estimating, and
Yeah.
we had different. I did it for 3 full years of college level auto body. We had to do we actually had a textbook we followed, learned how to do frame pulling. So it's been 25 years ago now, but
Yeah.
I learned how to do all that stuff. And
yeah, we had a nice, fancy at the time, brand new frame machine, and we got to play around with it a little bit. Of course, like you said, we done the textbook stuff too to do estimates, but I really didn't care about that. I did. It was interesting, but I wasn't really planning on going into auto body field. I was more, I want to learn how to restore stuff, not just bolt
I thought
fenders
I wanted
on.
to be a body man until I worked in a body shop for 3 months.
Yeah. See, right now, my oldest son,
I figured out
Clayton,
quickly that I don't like standing.
Yeah, my oldest son, Clayton, he works at a body shop, and he's been there for quite a few years now, and he does a really good job.
Yeah, I'm not very good at sanding. I worked at a body shop for about 3 months, and I think I sanded the entire 3 months.
Yeah. See,
And
that's the thing is what's funny is
shortly after that I joined the Air Force.
I know how to do body work. I'm not the best at it. It's just not my favorite thing to do. And I could patch the panels, I could weld up holes and not have any warpage. And it's been a long time since I've really done any of it worth speaking about. But I can do it. But all my trucks are rusty and crusty or look like this, multicolored, and one of these days I'm gonna get to the point where I'm actually gonna redo a whole truck. We've got a truck already out back that we've got plans for, and do a complete frame off, nut and bolt deal, kind of do the real deal rebuild and kind of show off what I could do on that kind of stuff. But
so
yeah, Tillman, that's the way it is nowadays. You don't fix panels hardly anymore. It's just replace it unless it's a quarter. But I know Ryan with Streetcar Chronicles, he was in a body shop. He's a body man, and
yeah, I said.
Oh yeah,
he did paint body for 9 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be very rewarding.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It absolutely can, and I enjoyed it to an extent, but I actually don't like doing body work. I like doing painting, and you don't get to walk into a body shop and be a painter. You have to be a body man first, and I just didn't like that part of it.
Yeah. I'm not real big on the sanding, the monotonous kind of stuff. I can and will do it, but I don't like it. I get bored too easily. So
I'm not good enough at bodywork to use any kind of power tools, so I have to hand sand everything I do, and that just makes it worse.
Yeah. But I'd like to.
I want to
Like
make
I
a
said, I'm
shiny truck someday.
plan on redoing one, but do what?
I said I want to make a shiny truck someday.
Yeah. Well, my
I
problem
think
with
I might
shiny things
actually
is
talk about you have your. Go ahead. I think we have a delay with my terrible internet here.
we might. No, I was just gonna say I'm not good with shiny things because I end up scratching it or doing something with it, and so I get nervous driving my wife's truck because I don't want to scratch it. My 2012 Silverado, my Duramax. I've used it enough now where I'm not too nervous about it, but still, it's I don't want to hurt it. I've already put some dents and dings in the bed of it with the trailer, or 2 different trailers. But and I can fix it. But if I fix it, then I don't have the story. Those are beauty marks for me. It gives it character.
So my
And it reminds me what an idiot
Ram,
I am.
I have an idiot story on my 2016 Ram. I pulled into a gas station and didn't realize there's one of those barriers at the end of the pump. Opened the door, and that's the only ding that was in that truck when I sold it. And it was in the driver's door, and I had to look at it every time I got into it. Oh, it drove me absolutely crazy. So I'm the same way with shiny stuff. I need something not to be shiny, because if it's shiny, I'm afraid to scratch it and I won't use it.
Yeah. Got your miles in here. And what Ryan said, that is a good point. The paint job is only as good as the body guy.
Yep.
That's very true. Prep is everything.
Ryan says he hated bodywork too. Yeah, if he did every aspect and spent 9 years doing it, he must have got through the bodywork portion of it.
Yeah. Ugly truck, you're speaking our language. I'm probably assuming the no body work, just make it run.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's body man
That's
makes
a good
the
point
painter
there.
and the polisher.
And the polisher.
Yeah.
The polisher usually makes the paint job, at least especially if I did the paint job.
Yeah, ugly truck is cheaper that way. And for me, I can enjoy my vehicles more if I don't have to worry about if I accidentally scratch them or, beating them up. Man,
That 2016 Challenger I had was shiny and it was nice. Hi, Bear Rose. I was afraid to drive it because I wouldn't drive it in the wintertime because I didn't want it to get wet or get snow on it. I wouldn't drive it in the summertime because I didn't want it to get a rock chip. I wouldn't take it to Alabama where I lived because I didn't have a garage to put it in. I'm not meant to own shiny things. I don't have I'm afraid to scratch shiny things, and I don't know. I realized after I bought that car, I need to make sure that whatever I own isn't shiny.
yeah. They are my wife's Ram. She done. We live on a gravel road. Of course, you've been down our gravel road, Travis. It's 2 miles.
Yeah.
2 miles either way. So to get to Blacktop from my house, you got to go at least 2 miles. Well, one way, when it rains, it it actually gets really muddy. And so when it gets real muddy, my wife doesn't want to drive the Ram. She'll take her old Tahoe. And, then when it's dry and dusty, she doesn't want to drive the Ram because it gets dusty, and, then you get the rock chips, which I've got the mud flaps, I think they're actually Ram mud flaps on it, and the inner fender wells and stuff to keep it kind of protected. It's just that's the worst thing about living on a gravel road is you're always going to have rock chips. You could go slow as you want to, and as soon as you get on the highway, and you can go 5 miles, and then
2 miles an hour for the first 10 miles, get all rocks out of tires.
Yeah. 15-minute warning.
Hello, Clint Street Machines.
Yeah. Yeah, she drives the Ram, but it's kind of selectively.
when the weather is perfect.
Yeah, when everything's perfect. Now she drives it more than I let on, but she doesn't like it because it's just hard to keep clean. And
well, I'm not exaggerating. That Challenger, I owned it for a year and I put 600 miles on it, and
wow,
one trip was 180 miles. I took it to Denver one time, and then the last trip, which was part of that 680 miles, was the trip back to Denver to trade it in. That was another 90 miles. So taking off that 270 miles, I put 310 miles on it in a year. Every time I took it out of the garage, before I brought it home, I'd take it and have it detailed, bring it back in. It sat in the garage under a cover. It was the most worthless purchase I ever had. I had a black Challenger before that, and I actually drove that one everywhere. I should have just kept that one.
Yeah.
So what does everybody think we should talk about next week? Got any ideas for our topic for next week?
Yeah. Good idea. Because it's your week next week to come up with an idea. So.
Well, you're welcome to suggest something if you got an idea.
Yeah. Leave in the comments if you have a suggestion of a topic to talk about next week.
Let's try to not make it controversial or
nothing political or controversial, just truck stuff or car stuff.
I have a couple ideas I'll run past you after this week sometime.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm game for anything really. Just I was kind of thinking about it when I was getting set up this afternoon. It's just tailgate talk. It's just, I try to set up where I'm sitting on a tailgate, but it's just like my idea is, we have a topic to start out with, but then it's just kind of hanging out and discussing things. Shellman's got one. Most exciting build. That'd be a good one.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of along the lines of one of my ideas was maybe not most exciting build, but like the one that you feel the most accomplished about.
Yeah.
Then I was also
and it doesn't have to be one that
some more current
we own right now or anything.
Yeah.
We've got a second on that one. Yeah, that is a good topic.
Yeah. Well, I'm split on that. I'm gonna have to call my support team which is a couple friends. on what my most exciting build would be. There's a good one from Bear Rose. The build that fought you the hardest.
Build that fought you the hardest. Oh, every one of them. Ryan, pros and cons of building a truck. Fit speed or 4-speed? I'm gonna think he's saying 4-speed.
I'm guessing that's 4-speed.
Like 4-speed or FOR speed? Oh,
Probably
he lives in
FOR.
Texas. He has a different language.
Oh,
Mrs. Squarebite, she's griping about the road grader. Yeah, our road grader, our township is. The guy is horrible.
we've got one out here for sale.
Yeah. I've never run a road grader before, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, some of the road grader, the operators I've seen work for the counties, you'd probably be all right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could probably do a way better job than him within the first hour. He usually just puts the blade perfectly straight. They'll bring in truckloads, several dump truckloads of gravel, chat, and then he'll come in behind them and scoop it all off into the ditch, and then run the blade just straight and flat, and it's in there chopping. So we got washboard everywhere.
He doesn't want you to get used to a smooth road and then it be washboarded.
Yeah.
If he does it that way, you will always be used to the washboards.
Yeah, but I'm constantly repairing suspension and steering parts. Okay, I think Ryan.
He's just giving you YouTube content.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got other stuff I'd like to be doing for YouTube content. Ryan, to be fast. I build a truck to be fast. Well, I don't know, Ryan. I've never built a truck to be fast.
The one before that, what is your dream build if funds were endless?
Oh my.
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
That could be interesting. I might have to write down some notes.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, that would be a square body, Ryan. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, if funds were endless. Yeah, that would be something else. Yeah, join us right after this at 8 o'clock. We'll be jumping over. We'll be switching over to another stream, still on my channel. This is the link. Quality Control's taking care of us. She put the link up there for you guys. So we'll be jumping over that for just a after hours live where we'll let the people in, hang out for however long. I don't have to work tonight, so I've got a thermos full of coffee, a nice warm shop. So
I'm out of coffee.
Take my cup.
yeah, Greater Man needs to watch YouTube. Well, as much time as he spends on his phone while he's supposed to be grading, I don't know what he's watching, but
maybe he needs to watch something different on YouTube.
yeah.
You just need to
What do
go
you
out there and
think the
stop him. Say,
king
can
of-
I see your phone for a minute? Go ahead.
I was reading Mr. Will's comment. What do you think the king of square body trucks? Well, I mean, like the most iconic, maybe, if that's where you're going at, probably. Which I know this will hit right home with him because he's got one that he's building, the Fall Guy truck. And that's probably the most iconic square body that I could think of. If that's where you're going with it, you know, the most iconic. As far as like the king of one, like maybe my ultimate idea of a square body is, I don't know. A lot of it depends on what you want to do with it, or what, you know. That's why I have so many. You know, I can't just have
You
one.
gotta have one for everything you want to do.
fill my needs. I mean, for years, all I had was my crew cab. So that was my work truck. That was my grocery getter. That was my race truck. That truck had to do everything for me. And now it just sadly just kind of sits there a lot of the times. I don't get to do much with it, but okay. Quality control is screenshotting the suggestions. She's on top of it for us.
Yes. So it's going to say you need to. Oh, wait. Oh, wow.
Let's see. And that's the thing, Ryan, like we've been talking about in this live, I have no idea. I mean, I know this is maybe a topic for another deal, but just to answer it real quick, that ties into this live right now is I have no idea because it's always been a part of my life. I don't know. I can't imagine a life not turning wrenches, not fixing things. That's just.
I tried to get away from it, and it didn't last very long. And not because I wanted to get away from it, I guess, because I just didn't really have a good place to do it.
I like Barrow's comment
about blowing the
endless budget. Well, can we use that endless budget to buy land or a storage facility on top of that? Is that part of the endless budget? I mean, there's a little gray area there because if I had an endless budget,
I don't think I could have one build if I had an endless budget.
Yeah. Yeah. Richard, white powder and professional women.
What is? Oh, if
endless. Oh, that's his. Okay, yeah. I was connecting that with the endless budget. That's not the one he's connecting it to.
That's if vehicles weren't your hobby in life.
Yeah, your hobbies. Yeah, your hobbies. That would probably be cheaper. That would probably be a cheaper hobby.
Some days for sure.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll. Well, it depends on what Travis comes up with his next topic for his next week. If we don't cover it next week, I'll try to cover that topic of
we'll have to think about it.
Yeah, because that's, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, Richard's
pretty witty.
Yeah. I've seen a little clip on social media somewhere where the guy's like buying lottery tickets and there's a news reporter there. He says, "Sir, what would you spend your money on if you won it?" He's like, "Cocaine and hookers."
Yeah, Ryan says definitely more fun.
I don't know.
Some days.
I don't know. I probably wouldn't be able to handle that lifestyle for very long at all because I'm, like I said earlier in this broadcast, a 1-year-old 30-pound human being whooped my butt in 2 days. So just trying to keep up with that.
That's what the white powder's for.
Yeah. So we've got 30 seconds, everybody. So appreciate everybody jumping in here and in the chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody have a good Christmas. Enjoy your family.
Merry Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas. And we will be jumping over to the After Hours Live in just a few minutes. bear with us while we get switched over. Y'all take care.
See ya.